Hey guys, so first of all, before I start this, I'd like to ask you guys to do me a favor, and that's like the video, ring the bell for notifications, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. Also guys, if you would like to, you can click on the link in the description to find my content elsewhere outside of YouTube. You can find me at all your favorite audio, video, podcast platforms, from iTunes to iHeart to Pandora to Audible to Amazon Music to Spotify to Radio Public, and to an extent SiriusXM. Anywhere there's a podcast to be found and listened to, more than likely you'll find mine there as well. Also, guys, you can find me at other different video platforms as well, like Rumble, Odyssey, Dailymotion, and VENMO. I'm also on DeviantArt.com at BVW1979 and InkBunny.net at BWRosette. You guys can also find me over at social media-wise. You can find me over at TikTok, Twitter, aka X.com, and Blue Sky. I also have a Patreon if you want to help support me over there at Patreon, and a Venmo and a Cash App. It'd be greatly appreciated if you can help in those areas, if you would like. Also, guys, I have online stores from a Fourth Wall store, linked at the top of the Fourth Wall store, and the bottom for the OG Teespring store. Check those out if you'd like to get some items for yourself or for any family members for this Christmas season. Also, guys, with that said, during this premiere, you can chime in the live chat if you would like, as well as if you want to, you can donate through the SuperChats in the live chat as well during this video premiere. And during both this video premiere and afterwards, comments will be open if you want to chime in that way and give your thoughts that way. And if you don't make it here in time for the live premiere, the live video premiere that is, then you can also donate if you want to. You can also donate through the Super Thanks icon, which is the little heart with the dollar sign in the middle. But with that, with that said, guys, let's get on to the topic at hand here. And I got to give a shout out. I got to give a shout out to the round table. And if you hear anything in the background, I'm going to make myself some hot chocolate in a minute via the Kirkin machine, the K-cup machine, if you will. But anyway, I got to give, like I say, a shout out, to the round table. That's right, the round table did a video where they were talking about something, and I'm surprised Cartoon Universe hasn't touched upon it just yet. They'll probably touch upon it tomorrow after the premiere tonight, depending on where you live and how you're watching it. Tonight, tomorrow, again, depending on how you're watching it, of the final 2 episodes of Hazbin Hotel. That's right, Hazbin Hotel's final 2 season 2 episodes, to wrap up season 2, if you will, premiere tonight. That is exactly what they do. They premiere tonight on Prime Video. So by the time you're watching this, so by the time you're listening and watching this, I should say, you probably have already seen those episodes. Now, with that said, though, one thing he brought up in this video was really interesting because other people will bring it up as well, and that is the character Rue. Now, Rue was a character that was introduced basically, right from the start of both Hazbin Hotel and Helluva Boss. There is concept design of her and everything and all that, but the biggest clue that Rue exists also comes from Vizi herself. Vizi has even said that on social media, she said this, that they have indeed recorded, not just wrote, but recorded lines for the character. That's right, the character has been given a voice. We don't know who, she's not saying, but lines have been recorded. And these lines were recorded as early as the first season of Hazbin and maybe potentially Helluva Boss. But why is this so significant in the eyes of someone like, say, Roundtable and anybody else? And that's the Kurgan machine finishing up with the hot chocolate. But again, as I was saying, why is this, so significant and important to the likes of, let's say, Roundtable, Cartoon Universe, Sarcastic Chorus, and many others that, want to bring her up now? Well, I think the reason they're bringing her up is for one specific reason. One obvious specific reason. You see, a lot of stuff is going down right now. It has been Hotel, and obviously they got a lot planned for season 3 of Helluva Boss. And we also know that outside of the promotional crossover they did to welcome Helluva Boss over to Prime Video along with Hazbin, as well as announce that Season 2 is coming for Hazbin and Season 3 is coming for Helluva Boss. There have been indications that an actual crossover between the both shows is going to occur. When and where that happens is up to Vizzy and her crew. But, the way people are presenting Rue, basically when you look at her, they are presenting her as somewhat like the Thanos of the Hellaverse. That's the way she's being positioned. We all thought, oh, it's going to be Alistair, that's the ultimate evil, and it still might be. Still might be. But it seems that Rue is the one that's being set up in that position. The one reason, that they bring this up is that when you look at the episodes, some of the more recent episodes from this season and last season of Hazbin Hotel, as well as you look at the episodes of the previous first 2 seasons of Helluva Boss, you will notice that a lot of the sections of hell that both shows take place in, they have eyes all across the board. They have eyes in rooms, on buildings, and what's crazy is some of these eyes do move. So in other words, the eyes are watching you, and a lot of people feel, including Roundtable, that these eyes are Rue. Now there have been other explanations that they could be, the souls of sinners that got exterminated during the extermination situation last season and in previous, encounters, and that because they were killed by angels while they were sinners, they didn't get a chance to be redeemed. Their souls got, basically reincarnated as eyes, as eyes. I'm trying to find what word to say, as eyes in these walls. Basically, they've been reincarnated as now just an eye that's looking around, trapped within. Others, they look at it like, basically, yeah, they became eyes, but they didn't become eyes as, basically souls trapped within them, but they became eyes that became an extension of Rue. They became part of Rue, if you will. And that might be true, and that might be, true. That might be true to some extent. But why is this such a big deal? I mean, people look at Lilith and they're thinking, well, she's obviously going to play a huge role, but why is she more, or not more, but why is she now looked at as less significant in importance when it comes to Rue? Because basically Rue has been, like I said, been around since the beginning. In fact, during the first season, in one of the first episodes of Helluva Boss, you had a mother, and by extension her family, but mostly the mother, be, a worshiper of Rue, and had these symbolisms of eyes, hanging from the tree, basically acting like, as Roundtable kind of put it, extensions, portals, if you will, for Rue to look into the real world. And we noticed this when this mother character was trying to burn Blitzo and Moxie alive, setting them ablaze, if you will. But anyway, point I'm getting at and everything is everybody is setting this character up to be the be-all, end-all, basically like I said earlier, the Thanos, if you will, of the Hellaverse. And to me, I think, honestly, this is where we're going to get our crossover. I think if she is being set up to be this big old bad, that people have claimed her to be, even Viziepop is even pointing this out as well. If she's being set up to be this big old bad, the Thanos, the Galactus, if you will, of the Hellaverse, basically the unstoppable force, the immovable object, basically being viewed as, let's say if you're a wrestling fan, being viewed as what Goldberg was like when he started in WCW, like what Brock Lesnar was like when he started and is still viewed as in WWE. She is basically being built in that manner as virtually unstoppable. Kind of like how people are looking at Braun Breaker right now and Obafemi. Virtually, people that might suffer a defeat, but also, suffers some very few and in between because, like I said, they're virtually unbeatable, untouchable, unstoppable. And that's how it sounds like they're setting up Rue here. She's being viewed as being someone in that category. She's kind of like, let's say, the dark side, if you will, the dark side of the Hellaverse. Darkside's like the ultimate end all be all, in DC, or at least we think of him as like that, or he's set up to be like that. But the point is, in comparison, that's how people are viewing her. They're viewing her in that manner to where basically it's going to take a miracle. It's going to take an effort to really just put her out of the way, take her down. And Roundtable did come up with some interesting theories and speculative theories, I should say, as to why she is being positioned this way, why she could be the be all end all, and why Vizzy could be waiting till at least season 3 and potentially season 4 to bring her in, unless we get a hint tonight, unless we get a mid-credits hint tonight about her existence. That's again, that's another story for another time. But if we get something like a hint tonight, a clue like, yeah, she's the ultimate one, she's the one you got to look out for. That to me is going to change things. It's going to change things in a big way, if you will, going forward. But if not tonight, then I got a feeling come the beginning of season 3, maybe we'll get something there that sets that up as well. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how it all culminates if she's being set up in that manner. Because the way Vizzy has set things up in people's minds right now is you're looking at either Alistair as the big bad for Hazbin Hotel, and you're looking at, let's say, Stolas' ex-wife, Octavia's mom, if you will, as kind of like the big bad for the upcoming season 3 of Helluva Boss. So basically, Vizzy's got all these characters, all these pieces in place to where fans believe it's going to go one way or another when it comes to them. And basically, I think she's doing this because no one's going to expect. They may speculate now, thanks to people like Roundtable, myself, and others. They may speculate that, hey, there's got to be something bigger here. And when they hear what Roundtable has said, what I'm saying, what people like Sarcastic Chorus may say, Cartoon Universe may say, they might start realizing, well, wait a minute, Vizzy's already got her pieces in place. Is she just doing this to distract us from the bigger goal? And the bigger goal could be introducing us to Rue. And let me get some hot chocolate here for a second, guys. Oh, that's good. It's really good. But could the end goal be, with these distractions, making us think she's got everything set in place of Rue being introduced? You got to wonder. And you got to wonder what the connection is. People feel that, Alistair has probably the closest connection, maybe also with Rosie, who owns her soul, if you will, who owns her soul, to Rue, that they got the closest connection. And could that play a factor? Could Lucifer, knowing about who she is and what her motive is, play a factor? Could that be a reason why Lilith is in heaven? Because she knows that she's in heaven, it basically prevents, Rue from showing up. Because if she's in hell, that gives Rue more power. Like, is that the reason she's there? Because if she's there, Rue doesn't have like that final piece of the puzzle to basically, make herself known to both hell and heaven. Is that why Lilith is there? That could be something that I don't think anybody's thought of. But could that be a reason? We'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see what they got, set up for the near future after tonight. We'll have to see that. But when you get down to it, though, I think the honest answer is we just got to wait and see. I mean, yeah, this is all pretty much, good theorizing, good speculating. I mean, yeah, one of the eyes did move when they were watching Angel Dust, so it makes you wonder, okay, Roundtable brings up the fact that, why was, Rue, if the eye is her, which a lot of signs point to it is, Why was she watching Angel Dust? What's the vested interest, in Angel Dust? And according to Roundtable, the vested interest is what Charlie said in one of the earlier episodes this season, that Angel Dust might be the key to, fully showing that the hotel can redeem people like him to get into heaven like it did with Serpentis. And if that's the case, maybe, as Roundtable speculating, maybe, Rue is looking at Angel Dust as being that key outside of, let's say, someone like Lilith coming back to hell that will allow her to emerge and, wreak havoc, cause total destruction and everything. But we'll have to see what they got set up. We'll have to see what they got set up for the near future. We'll have to wait for that. And, again, watching Angel Dust and looking at him as a key, or them as a key, that's a good theory, good speculation. But also, again, I'm trying to find the right word to say. But also, when you think about it, maybe again, this is why Lilith is in heaven, because with her in heaven, there's no way that Rue could have that last piece of the puzzle to really, really regain footing and make herself known, as I said earlier. But again, like I said, what we'll just have to do is, just wait and see after what happens tonight. Just wait and see, what, Vizzy is going to hint at for season 3 and potentially season 4. And if Rue is going to have a connection, because it sounds like Vizzy does want to get Rue in here. She wants to get her as a part of this storyline, mostly, I think, for the last season. And if that occurs, again, I think that's when we're going to get the crossover, because I think what's going to happen is Vizzy's going to want to align both Helluva Boss and Hazbin Hotel. She's going to want to align, basically the 3rd season and 4th season of both, and hopefully get one of those seasons to have, several episodes play out as somewhat of a major finale for both. Either it's a major season finale or major series finale for both. I think that's what she wants to set up. And I think if it's being set up, to be in season 4 for both, I can see the final maybe 3, maybe 4 episodes being the finale. But not, 4 has-beens and that's it. Or 4 Helluva Bosses and that's it. No. I think what she probably has set up is she basically wants to, have it to where part 1, chapter 1 is this episode of Has-Been. Then part 2 is this episode of Helluva Boss. Then part 3 is the second episode of basically the second episode, second to last episode, of Hazbin Hotel, and then Helluva Boss gets the 4th one. I think that's the way it's going to be set up, or it could be set up to a Helluva Boss. Their second to last episode is the first part. Then the second part is Hazbin Hotel. Then the last episode for Helluva Boss is part 3. And then Hazbin is the last part, and that's the end for both shows. That's the end of the Hellaverse as we know it. And again, that's just me speculating on how she would approach it. If she's setting up Rue to be basically, like I said, this this Thanos, this Darkside, this Galactus of the Hellaverse. She's setting her up to be this big bad, because again, she has somebody already recording lines for the character, but she's not going to say who. That tells you she's got something big planned for her. And if she's saving this character's arrival for the final 2 seasons, and in one of those final 2 seasons we get, let's say, a 2-part or a 4-part, finale where, like I said, it's, one part takes place in Hazbin, the second part takes place in Hella, and then the third in Hazbin, and the 4th in Hella, or vice versa. That, to me, would not only connect both shows under the same continuity or the same timeline somewhat, if you will, but it will basically show you that everything that's happened in Hazbin Hotel, in the story of Hazbin Hotel, and the continuity, has an effect on what happens in Helluva Boss, and vice versa. That to me would basically, signify and clarify, all of that as to being, not just one, Hellaverse universe, if you will, cinematic universe, but basically being within, like I said, the same kind of continuity and timeline. That's what I feel that's what I feel is going to happen. And I do believe that if both are heading for the fourth season as the final season, that's when it's going to happen. That's when this finale is going to occur. And I think she's got it possibly, in my speculative opinion, set up to go that route. And again, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. And I'll admit that right here that I could be wrong. But honestly, I don't think I am. And what's crazy is a lot of shows have done this, animated and live action, have done these kind of multi-part deals. Well, the first part's in one episode, the first part is in one show, and then the second part's in the other show. So I'm not going to put it past Vizzy to possibly go down this route if she's determined to make Rue a reality in the story, potentially by the last seasons for both shows. And then that's how both shows cross over, to close things out. But we'll see. We'll see what she does. We'll see what she's got planned, like I said. But it will be very interesting to pay attention to, especially after tonight. But let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know how you feel about Rue, potentially being brought in and being viewed as basically being this big bad, being the Thanos, the Darkside, the Galactus, if you will, of the Hellaverse. Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comment section. If you haven't already in the live chat during this video premiere, let me know in the comments afterwards. And that's all I can say on it right now. But let me know what your thoughts are, guys. Comment down below. Hold on for a sec. Sorry about that. That was our neighbor's car. I thought I heard something. I was like, what the heck was that? But anyway, like I said, let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comment section, as well as if you haven't already, let me know in the live chat. But anyway, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below, as well as if you want to donate afterwards. If you didn't get here in time for the the video premiere, the super thanks is open if you want to basically donate through that. As soon as the video premiere is over, you can do that. And also, guys, like I said earlier, like the video, ring the bell for notifications, subscribe to the channel, share the video, and click on the links in the description to help support me elsewhere outside of YouTube, and check out my content outside of YouTube as well. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are overall on this. Do you agree with what I've had to say? And I do recommend checking out Roundtable's video on it. I'll try to link it here at the end so you guys can see it. It should be in one of the areas here on the screen that you can click on. But let me know, how do you feel about his theories? And let me know what you think about my theories and all that. And Roundtable, if you're listening, Cartoon Universe, if you're listening, Philcast, of course, I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts as well. But let me know, guys. Comment below. And until next time, I am out. I do apologize for being a little distracted and rambling on towards the end there. Again, I heard something outside. It was our neighbor's car, the young kids and all that driving off. So I do apologize on that. But let me know what your thoughts are. And until then, I am out.